just spilled the water everywhere. Oh, far out. Such a Jason thing to do, far out. Yeah. Alright. Now I'm not gonna spill this again. Let's put that there. Bring this here. Oh, bring this maybe. Alright, it is New Year's Eve, and we are about to go train some legs. So, I am very fortunate where I don't work a lot during this Christmas time, so I was able to sleep in a little, and yeah, now I'm gonna have some breakfast and head straight to the gym, get that workout over and done with. Gonna train legs, which is always a love-hate relationship. You gotta love it, but hate it, because it's just such pain. So starting off with, I always eat before my workouts, or I always eat in the morning. I think if you're into fasting, that's cool. But I really think eating first thing in the morning is so important to give your body the energy it needs, and especially if your goal is to build muscle, having a breakfast that has a good amount of protein is going to start the protein synthesis process, right? Every time you eat a meal that has a good amount of protein in it, usually I'm aiming between 30, 40, 50 grams of protein per meal personally. The second you do that each meal, you're giving the body the opportunity to build muscle. That's what protein synthesis is the process of your body building muscle. So I always think that's very important. I wouldn't say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. That kind of, I guess, that old school common cliche. However, because I'm eating going straight to the gym, this breakfast is, I consider, the most important meal today, because your pre-workout meal is the meal that's going to give you the most amount of fuel. And if you're fueling your body correctly, then you're going to have more energy, better performance at the gym, right? If you just go to the gym fasted, which is, look, that's cool if you want to do that. But I think you're gonna have more energy at the gym if you can fuel yourself. Especially, look, if you're eating a really big dinner just before bed, you may have still some glycogen saved up and you're ready to go. Saying that, I just think a lot of people that I've talked with and I've said to them, try and have, people who maybe say, oh, it doesn't feel good in my stomach, or I can't handle it. When we slowly, my tip is always like, start slow, start small. Have maybe, I've got a banana here, have half a piece of banana, have half a yogurt, and slowly you can build your tolerance from there. And those people that I've given that advice to, they always say, like, they feel like, yeah, I do have that little bit more energy. So everyone's different, but if you really want to have the best outcome, if you're really trying to, especially if you're doing heavy weights and you're really trying to push your body to the limits, you're going to want to have some energy. So what I typically like to have as a pre-workout breakfast, I like to have some eggs. So I've got 3 eggs here. I like to have a piece of banana, and I usually have 4 pieces of wholemeal toast. Now, I typically keep track of my calories. So I've got 117 grams of banana. I typically like to have, we ran out of bread today. I typically like to have a particular bread that I buy from like our bakery in Melbourne, Australia. Like you get, more crumbs, Jace. We've got a bakery called Baker's Delight, which is, they make their bread every day. It's like a bakery kind of chain thing. So I've got 2 pieces of wholemeal bread and then some leftover bread from Christmas, right? Now, I don't know how many calories is in this, but it's a big piece. So I'm like, okay, that should be maybe the equivalency of 2 slices of this bread. I don't know exactly. Typically, I like to know exactly what I'm having so I know the amount of calories I'm getting throughout the day, but then also for my pre-workout meal, because I typically like to have about 80 to 100 grams of carbs before hitting the gym. The evidence highlights that when you're fueling yourself up for your pre-workout meal, you want to have about 1 gram of carbohydrate per kilogram of body weight. So I'm about 81 kilos, so that's why I'm saying between 80 to 100. 80 would be fine, but some days I feel that having that little bit of extra carbs, I can get that nice full pump, and I have that, you know, as I was explaining, that bit of extra energy. So, and I always like to have a bit of mix of whole grain with some fruit. I think the combination of the two is really beneficial. So, gonna eat this. Oh, I'm also gonna have some yogurt as well. So that gives me about 35 grams of protein or so. Also got a Barocca. Is it Barocca? No, I'm not sure. This is some vitamin C drink in there. And then I've got, I don't know if you can see that, I've got iron, because don't eat a lot of red meat, which I really should eat more of, but and I'm getting better at it. So I've got my iron, got my fish oil, vitamin D, and a magnesium tablet. So because fish oil, I don't eat a lot of fatty fish, and we know that fatty fish is really important for your overall health, your internal health, heart health, brain health. So definitely take the fish oil every day. Vitamin D, now that it's summer here, I'm getting a little bit more of natural sun, but just good to have that, especially because sometimes I'm not out in the sun. Magnesium, good for muscle recovery, especially if you're pulling up sore, which I am a little bit today for my first workout back yesterday. So that's good to take that. So yeah, gonna eat this. Then I'll wait about an hour. I'll get to the gym in about an hour's time. So that gives me about an hour to digest. And then we're gonna hit some legs. So I guess I will see you guys there. All right, so haven't trained legs for 2 weeks. So before I hit this, I'm gonna show you what my legs are looking like, see what we're playing with. And yeah, we're gonna get into this workout. Keen. Let's do this. Let's get into this workout. Let's do it. We're gonna start off with, first I'm gonna do some pre-activation stuff. It's really important when we're doing legs, especially if you're gonna do a squat movement. You need to you need to get your glutes, wake those up, and our core activated, because they're very important when it comes to performing a squat. Especially we're gonna be doing belted squats. We're not in a hack squat. Even in a hack squat, it would be important to, you know, do some of that pre-activation stuff. I'm going to show you some of the pre-activation stuff that I do that really helps make sure that my lower back isn't kicking in by getting the glutes to do its job, and do my core to do its job as well. So previous leg workout, which again about 2-3 weeks ago, I was able to do this weight, which is 37.5 kilos each side on the belt squat. I was able to do 4 sets, 13 reps. Let's see how we go today. Again, I've got that mentality where it's like, if I don't hit that, I feel like a bitch. I've gone backwards, but I've got to be kind. Respect the fact that I've been unwell. Respect the fact I've come back from an injury. But let's see how we go. Let's get it.
My goal, if I can do a week of hitting the same sets and reps as I was able to do before I came back, or close to it, I'm happy with that. I'm not trying to progressively overload and think, okay, what did I do last week? Now I gotta increase that. Just trying to match it or come close to it. Again, you gotta be kind to yourself when you've come back from a long break, illness, injury. You gotta, you can't expect to be where you were at your best when you're being consistent, healthy, fresh, eating well, sleeping well. All those things need time. So just keeping that in the back of my mind. Typically, always like to do drop sets, even now. And I really want to. I feel like a biggest sissy not doing it, especially starting a new YouTube channel, not showing the drop sets and the intensity that I like to go at. But I promised myself, first week, let the central nervous system recover, get back into routine, let the body slowly transition. And that's important for even beginners, right? When you are starting, don't look at what your favorite YouTuber influencer is doing. The beginner's not supposed to do sets that are close to failure or multiple sets. Beginners should do 1, 2 working sets with a few reps in reserve. That way you can actually get some consistency. Otherwise you're gonna pull up too sore, you're gonna feel too fatigued, and you're probably not gonna wanna keep going. So important, ease into it. And that's what I'm trying to tell myself, ease into it. I will say though, compared to yesterday, 10 times better. Yesterday I just felt like first workout back, the second workout felt better. So that's a good sign, especially for training legs. So it's good, slowly.
finishing from the squats, I now move on to leg extensions, which is my last quad exercise. I only do 2 quad exercises, 2 quad focus exercises, I should say, because squats, you do hit your hamstrings and a little bit of glutes as well. But predominantly the squats, especially how deep I go with my squats, that's predominantly going to be quad focused, and leg extensions being my second quad exercise, and then doing 2 more hamstring exercises. So I'm really focusing on, this is my final set, I believe, where I'm focusing on, as you can see, I'm not swinging the movement. I'm just really, it's a strong upwards squeeze at the top, so I'm just strong lifting up the pad up to the top, and I'm slowly controlling it back down. This set, I believe I was aiming for, 14 reps. So what I do is I try my very best to get to that, and that what I do is, if I need to, I take a 2-second or 3-second pause while I take 3 deep breaths, as you can see here, and I try to force myself to do 2 more sets. So 4 sets of squats, 4 sets of leg extensions, and that's quads done. Some people sometimes choose 5, 6 different quad exercises and hamstring exercises, and look, if that's what works best for you, great. But just from my experience, I feel like that's almost overkill, especially as you get more advanced and you've been training for longer and longer. Sometimes it's more about less exercises, even less sets, and it's more about the intensity of each set that you're doing for that particular exercise. Now, again, I am trying to push myself, but I'm not doing any drop sets. I'm not going to complete failure. Well, I'm trying to take myself to that failure point, but I can tell I'm gassing a lot more quickly. So after quads have done, I've now moved on to my first hamstring exercise, which is a seated hamstring curl. If your gym doesn't have this, you can do a lying hamstring curl, but I like the seated hamstring curl because when you are in this machine, the most tension on the hamstring is when the leg is extended, right? Where your feet are at the top of the machine, not when you're curling it at the bottom where your feet are under your hips. And the benefit of having the tension when your feet are up at the top or your leg is extended, more tension on the muscle at the lengthened position. Again, we know that can be helpful and more beneficial to building muscle. Again, it's not a deal breaker. I wouldn't say never do the lying hamstring curl. I would definitely recommend to try both. But I've done lying hamstring curls for years, and I feel like I just want to mix it up. So doing 4 sets on the seated hamstring curl, and then I move over to hip thrusts. But unfortunately, my camera died on me, and I wasn't able to get any recordings of the hip thrust. So you can take my word for it. I was able to do 4 sets there, 4 sets of hamstring curls, and then I finished off with some cardio. Again, cardio can be a really great tool to help you get yourself in a calorie deficit, but more importantly, it's just good for your overall health. We do weight training, which builds all these muscles, our quads, our chest, our biceps, but sometimes we forget about the most important muscle group, muscle, I should say, not a group, the most important muscle, our heart. So it's really important to take that into consideration. So that's the workout, that's the video. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and yep, I hope there's been some helpful tips in this video, and I will see you guys for the next video. Will be that one day closer to the wedding, getting excited, getting into the best shape, the shape that I want to look for the wedding. So excited for that, and I hope that you are, whoever's watching this, that maybe you're starting your health and fitness journey, whatever your goal is that you're striving to, hope that you're able to do that as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.